Hey, what's going on, APUSH peeps? We have video number 39 for you. This one is on the growth of cities, also known as urbanization. Before we begin, I got to give a shout out to Mr. Naples class in New Haven, Connecticut. Thanks for the support. Good luck this year. You all are awesome and will do great. So let's talk about the growth of cities. In the late 19th century, cities will see tremendous growth. So late 1800s, more and more people are moving to cities. This is due to factories and businesses being located there and people wanting to live near their work. International migrants will move to the cities. We talked about the international migrants in a previous video, but you have Chinese immigrants settling on the West Coast in cities like San Francisco. This is pre-1882, if you remember, because of the Chinese Exclusion Act, which forbid Chinese immigration. New immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe were settling on the East Coast in cities from places like Italy and Poland. And there were 10 million people that immigrated to the United States between 1860 and 1890. So a lot of immigrants are moving to America. So a big question you should be familiar with is, why did migrants move here? Well, they moved to escape poverty. Religious persecution was another reason. For example, Jews in Russia were fleeing to the United States. And also in many European countries, there was little social mobility in their home countries. And this is where the idea of the rags to riches stories became popular in the US due to novels written by this guy, Horatio Alger. He wrote a lot about rags to riches stories, and people like Carnegie is an example of it, somebody who was an immigrant from Scotland and became one of the wealthiest people in America. So internal migration is also happening, meaning people are moving within the United States. Many African Americans are moving within and out of the South. They're doing so to escape sharecropping, and this will increase in the 20th century in what is known as the Great Migration, this massive movement of African Americans from the South to cities in the North. And we'll talk more about that in period 7. So with all these people moving to urban neighborhoods, there are certain characteristics that develop. And often these cities, or parts of these cities, are based on ethnicity, race, and class. People tend to live together with similar demographics. And we see in New York City, for example, Little Italy is made up of people primarily from Italy, Italian immigrants. And these cities provided new cultural opportunities for these immigrants. So one of the big debates or questions is, how will immigrants assimilate into American culture? So assimilation is adapting or becoming American. This was a result of international migration, and this helps lead to nativism. Again, we see this again. Anytime there's a large number of immigrants coming to America, we tend to see nativism. And an example of this is the American Protective Association, or the APA, which sought to limit immigrants and keep Catholics from holding office. Guys, be familiar with this. This is similar to the Know Nothing Party of the 1850s, which ran a presidential candidate in the 1852 election. Immigrants often compromise between their own cultures and U.S. culture. So, for example, second-generation immigrants were more likely to assimilate than first-generation immigrants. And public schools only taught English, so they had to learn English in schools. So political machines develop in cities. Please star, circle, underline, highlight this concept. You will definitely need to know this for your exam. These emerged in cities, in places like New York City in particular. And political machines were political organizations that provided jobs and services to constituents in return for support. I can't stress this enough. These are political organizations that gave out jobs and services to mostly poor constituents. In return, they were given political support. An example of this is Tammany Hall in New York City and Boss Tweed, and they had tremendous power. They could decide who would get local government jobs, and they even could have influence over elections. You see this very famous political cartoon of Boss Tweed here, and it says the ballot, and then at the bottom, Boss Tweed is saying, as long as I count the votes, what are you going to do about it? So they are very influential, and they provide jobs and services to constituents in exchange for support. We also have a growing middle class in the late 19th century, and this was caused by a need for managers at the corporate level. So we have higher paying jobs, and this will lead to increased access to education. So more education is needed for these higher paying jobs. We also have an influx in growing leisure time that will expand consumer culture. What I mean by that is more people are spending money on leisure goods because they have time. And examples of these include vaudeville shows, baseball, and consumer goods. And here's a picture of the first professional baseball team ever, my beloved Cincinnati Reds. So let's do a quick recap on this video. Reasons for the growth of cities, know it. Reasons for international migration, why were immigrants coming here? Please be able to explain those if you have to in a short answer question. Characteristics of cities, assimilation and nativism. This is a topic that we will see over and over and over again in U.S. history. Political machines, what were they? What did they do? And the emerging middle class. Thank you guys for watching. Look forward to seeing you back here for video number 40. Transcontinental railroads, westward settlement, and Native Americans in the late 19th century. Thanks for watching. Best of luck this year, and have a good day.